Notre Dame guy, so, you know.
Yeah, you can still have love and respect for it, though. No, okay, all right. All right, moving on.
So the story, Notre Dame with a huge win over Clemson Saturday night in South Bend. DJ Uiagalelei, 29 for 44.
At least you got it right.
So
439 yards. The reason I'm going to tell you this is the way this guy's playing, even in a loss, you're going to have to eventually learn how to say this. And I was watching the Fox pregame show. I was watching our pregame show, but I was watching the Fox pregame show Saturday. Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, they were in for the fellas. And they also had your proficiency in pronouncing Uiagalelei. So you are in elite company.
I was just telling
Y'all
Jay,
better learn how to say it, though. Come on now.
I was telling Jay in the middle of the break, I was like, you know how many announcers on television and radio and just in general botched his name this weekend?
Yes.
I mean, that's just part of it. I mean,
but he's here to stay. We better learn how to stay.
I understand that, but it's just one of those hard ones, man. Every now and then, it's a hard one. It is.
Let me ask you
the Greek Freak is a hard one, too.
That's why you go Greek Freak.
That's why you say Greek Freak.
I told you, DJU.
Or just Giannis.
Just keep it simple.
I don't need to try to prove that I'm smart.
I'll tell you whose name. Tell you whose name you can say. Ian Book.
Yeah.
His numbers, they don't jump off the page, but the plays he was able to keep alive, utilizing his feet. I mean, that was one of the biggest games I've seen him have his entire career. That was a massive win for that organization.
They were going in for a huge touchdown late in the game. He ended up fumbling. It was recovered by Clemson in the end zone for a touchback. You would have thought, man, if they would have lost that game, you think back to that play. So Book was great. But you mentioned hard question, easy question. You tell me. They could obviously play again December 19th in the ACC championship game. It certainly looks like that could be the collision course. Now the possibility exists that if Clemson wins that game, could both of them somehow sneak into the college football playoff if the game is close. Let's not put the cart before the horse. If Trevor Lawrence played in that game, realizing that Travis Etienne, Clemson's lead running back, the leading rusher in the history of the ACC, had a touchdown but a really quiet game. If Trevor Lawrence is in there for DJ, who I thought balled out to the extent that you could expect after being down 10-0, not wilting, after being down 28-10 in his first game, if Trevor Lawrence plays in that game, is the result any different?
I don't know, man. They scored 40 points. Like, I don't know how much more Trevor Lawrence could have done that DJ didn't do. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some plays that Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator, left on his play call sheet that he would have liked to have gotten to if Trevor Lawrence was in there. But I don't know. I mean, 40 points. I mean, the dude did score 40 points.
I will say this, though. You know, I've never been a quarterback, but being a point guard is very similar. Being on the sideline, Key, talking to your players going through an injury, or obviously for Trevor Lawrence, COVID, is a completely different dynamic than being on the court, being in battle, being able to say things to individuals on your team to help them get out of their own way. If that's to your offensive line, creating more room to operate for ETN or things of that sort, that's the only place my mind can go. And I know that's probably where Trevor Lawrence is. You know, is it enough to win? I'm not sure, but having him on the field, just that cool, calm collectiveness that you have as a quarterback, as a point guard, maybe talking, communicating to your players might make a slight difference.
I'm sure there's something that he could have done to help the team. I mean, just from an offensive standpoint, though, I don't know if they could have gotten more out of the offense with him on the field. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they scored 40 points.
No, at some point, you got to give Notre Dame's defense some credit here, too, though. I mean, for getting plays down the stretch.
How about what's going on with Michigan? So this is Jim Harbaugh's sixth season. Saturday, he coached his 68th game. In a span of 7 days, they've lost to Michigan State and Indiana. With all due credit to Indiana, many people believe they are now the second best team in the Big Ten. And Jim, we're not talking college basketball yet. We're talking college football. The Hoosiers and hoops are one thing. Where do you see Jim Harbaugh and Michigan right now with where they are at, Key?
They're a bad football team. And you know, at some point, the $8 million, $9 million khaki guys got to figure out how to win some games at Michigan. I've always felt like, and I'll continue to say this, he belongs in the National Football League. He's an NFL football coach. Even though he'll wear you out after 4 years of coaching, with his personality, if I'm an owner, I'm willing to take that risk because I think he's a good football coach made for the pros. Some people are made for college, like Nick Saban. Nick Saban's a good hell of a football coach, but his patience for the pro game isn't there.
Miami.
It's just it's not there. You can't talk to professional athletes the way Nick Saban talks to college guys. And we saw that in Miami. So when Alabama came a calling, he came a running. If Pete Carroll is a pro football coach, even though he won at USC, he was always a pro coach because he had some mild success with the Jets, mild success with following Bill Parcells in New England. Then he goes to college, gets a rebirth, goes back to Seattle. Now he has another extension till he's 74 years old because he's a hell of a football coach. And I think Jim Harbaugh is that. I think he's a hell of a football coach that needs to be in the pros and stop messing around in college football because you're not getting it right. And you're never going to beat Ohio State. So,
I just want everybody at home to think about what he just said. At $7.5 million per year, Jim Harbaugh has to figure out the way to win games.
No doubt. Our poll question this morning, who's the MVP? Key's MVP so far next.